So this is the second time this year I've spoken to members of the HIP. First of all was South Philadelphia earlier this year, and then a little bit backstage after the Juno performance. Once again, we're speaking about another HIP release. Has it just been our luck that we're getting to hear and see so much of the HIP in 2021? I'll talk obviously about the 30th anniversary of the Road Apples. It makes sense chronologically, but has it just come together this way?
Yeah, principally. It's been about a 2 or 3 year process for us tracking down all of this stuff, and the more digging we did, the more we actually found that would serve to sort of commemorate this anniversary that we're going through right now. So this is the culmination of everything. This the deluxe set that's coming out, which we're super excited about. It's I'm most excited about the release of a live show back from 1991 from the Roxy. Given us not being able to see live music for the last couple of years and stuff, and having not heard the complete show in 30 odd years, it's I'm genuinely excited about it.
Now, not to be offensive, but did the people in the Roxy in LA in 1991 know you guys, or was it hardcore fans, or was it Canadians? Who was in the crowd that night? Did you have a sense of it?
Well, I think as well as we do that the fourth largest Canadian city is Los Angeles. So it really is.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of Canadian fans everywhere, but Los Angeles definitely. And it was really a great show because we needed them there, because it's so usually packed with industry stuff. They're a bunch of stiffs. So it was really a great show. And we had our friend and mentor, Don Smith, recording it out front in the Westwood One truck. So it was a very memorable experience for us.
Were there like Canadian flags, or could you see that there were actual Canadians in the audience?
There's always a flag at a HIP show, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So yeah, I should just say up front that we're talking principally about this 30th anniversary deluxe edition of Road Apples, which was your second album, your first to go to #1. What are your memories about being back in the studio, specifically Daniel Lanois' Kingsway Studio in New Orleans back then? Had the band dynamics been worked out yet? Were you still figuring out your way in the studio? What can you tell me about the band at that time?
I think we were always working on our band dynamic, truthfully, really up until the very end. But we had, we achieved some great success. We played a lot of gigs supporting Up to Here, and consequently spent a lot of time away from home, a lot of time with each other. Our van kind of became our home. And when we found out we had the chance to make a second record, because it was we were, you never know, right, in our business. We were super conscious of the sophomore jinx. We were together all the time playing, so we were writing. We really started to evolve as a collective writing unit while we were on the road. So we would take every opportunity, like a sound check or sitting around in a hotel room, to bounce ideas off each other. And I think when we got finally to New Orleans, which in retrospect was a fantastic idea by Bruce Dickinson, our A&R guy, and Don, to get us into such a cultural musical hub like that after Memphis. We were excited to be doing it and excited to be writing. And we kept the writing process going once we arrived in New Orleans. We had tons of stuff that we wanted to record. We were ready to go and continued that process while we were there. So yeah, it was great. But like I say, we were always moving forward. We were always working on trying to become a better band and better songwriters, I think.
When you guys listen to it 30 years later, can you be objective about it and say, yeah, we did okay back then? Or are there things you would fix, or is that kind of the way you're always going to want to fix something?
I mean, you're a musician, so you always think, I could play that better. And when it's on tape, it's there for everyone. But I think with Road Apples, like Gord was saying, we'd been on the road, then we got into the writing mode, and then we went down to New Orleans. And Don was really big on us meeting up a week before we actually went into the studio and rehearsing. And I remember up to here, we went into an abandoned Mexican restaurant that was really just very close to the studio there. And then New Orleans, we went into the Ninth Ward, and we rehearsed for a week, a very hot week in this attic. And so with Road Apples, for me, it's got a lot of backbone. It's got a lot of the right kind of attitude from that previous year and a half on the road. So yeah, looking back on it, we knew we were doing something that was very special in our career.
And I wondered if you could be like objective about even songs. Like you mentioned, you both love the fact that this deluxe version includes this live show in LA. But for me, Hoofhearted, which is the alternate takes, the demos, just hearing some of the songs, it sounds like maybe at their genesis. That's very special to me because it feels like I'm being led into your world a little bit. Specifically, Gord Downie on Fiddler's Green, very poignant to hear that now after all this time. Do you guys have a favorite take there on that specific release of songs?
Yeah, I mean, that would certainly be one of them for sure. That's been a part of the amazing process that we've been going through, and really shepherded and initiated by Johnny to go through all these tapes and listen to things. And I was a little nervous when the prospect arose that we were finding these lost tracks. Like there must have been a reason we left things off. And then you realize in retrospect, the reason that these tracks didn't get on is that we were able to do it in a different way or write a different song. And you hear that version of Fiddler's Green with just Gord and Rob. And yeah, I mean, that could have easily stood on the record on its own. And it's really moving and heartwarming, hearing the room and hearing Gord's voice and it's nostalgic's not the right word, but it does carry me back personally to a place in time when I was a young musician trying to find my way with my bandmates and becoming a stronger band. And there are those moments like that where you listen to it. It was a great studio. We couldn't make a lot of noise at night because it's in a residential part of town. And so we would use the evening to record songs like that and to jam and stuff. And it was just, again, it's heartwarming to be carried back. And that's the principal reason that we decided to include outtakes and things, because we were discovering the music at the same time, and courtesy of Don. And yeah, it's just a great thing, I think.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and Johnny, Johnny, feel free to step in.
I would add to that that the version of Little Bones is really cool because it gives you a little view into how that started. Gord Sinclair, in his very unique guitar style, brought that finger picking, and then he and Gord did that version, and that was actually tagged on to the original version. So when the one version, the live version with the band was ending, that one was faded up, and that was on the original.
Yeah.
It was really cool to include that, I think,